Hi there. I'd like to welcome you to another episode of Living United with Nashua Business. Now, today we have a little bit of a special episode. Normally, what I do with this episode, with this TV show, is to introduce you to different members of the Nashua business community and talk about what they're doing with philanthropy locally. Today, a little bit different of a spin. We're going to be introducing you to a local nonprofit, the Thank You Project, and talk a little bit about what they're doing to change the world from a local position here in Nashua, New Hampshire. So I'd like to introduce you to my friend Charles O'Corey. Charles, welcome to our show today.
Thank you, Mike.
It is so good seeing you again. It seems like it's been forever. We haven't seen each other in months and months.
Yeah, thanks, Mike. Everybody all busy,
Everybody is busy, right? And I know you are too. So today we're going to talk about the Thank You Project. What are you doing? What is the Thank You Project about? We're going to talk about your local fundraiser, which is coming up soon, which is called the Water Walk. And we should have a good discussion about that. So let's start out. Tell us about yourself. I'd like to introduce you and your personal story so we can connect that into the Thank You Project. Tell us about yourself, Charles.
Okay, I'll try to be really brief. First off, I want to thank you.
We have plenty of time, so you don't have to be brief. Yeah.
For inviting me to this program.
It's our pleasure.
For giving, not just me, us, the opportunity to talk about our vision and our mission and the Thank You Project to make a difference in the world. Thank You Project, to put it succinctly, is a mission born out of our sense of gratitude and indebtedness to God for everything we have in our lives, everything that have come our way, which, as far as I'm concerned, is not born out of being the most hard-working person, but on several occasions, you just see things drop on your laps, and we just want to show appreciation for that. Most especially for just the privilege of being in this country, the United States. It is not an exaggeration when I say that coming to this country is practically the best thing that happened to my life. I never scripted it. I never planned it. I was in Nigeria. I'm an architect, trying to eke out.
So you grew up in Nigeria?
Born in Nigeria, lived my entire life in Nigeria, went to school in Nigeria from elementary to graduate school in Nigeria. I haven't been to school here. Then after graduation, I set up my business in Nigeria, architecture, design, build. But somehow I had a twist. My wife won the US visa lottery. It's one of those things that, the lottery, they draw all over the world. And we had a timeline to move to the United States. And we moved here, practically with nothing. The only thing I had going for me coming to this country was hope and faith that I was going to survive.
So Charles, you and your wife came here together?
Same flight, and with my daughter.
Okay, so you already had a child.
My daughter,
as well.
I was married in Nigeria. My daughter, my first daughter, I have 4 kids. My daughter was born in Nigeria. She was a baby.
So she came here as a baby?
She came here. She doesn't know much about Nigeria.
All right.
She was born 98.
Okay.
She was barely a year old. We came 99. And over several years, I realized that there was much more to this, to what was transpiring in my life than just working hard or trying to eke out a living, My daughter, for instance, that was born in Nigeria, just graduated from Cornell, Ivy League school. I had a client of mine that said, Charles, you don't really know what you have going for you. He's loaded, he's rich. So he'll pay anything to get, he'll pay anything to get his daughter to have an Ivy League education, and look at you from your village. On top of that, my son, who was born here, is in Cornell as a pre-med student. And it's been good. You know, things like that have been happening to me. I'm not hitting them on the head to work harder. And I look around me, I see what's going on. People, my friends that went through kindergarten, elementary, high school here in Nashua together. I see what's going on with the kids. And I don't have that with me. I'm talking of family life.
So now you and I have talked before, so I'm going to summarize a little bit where I think you're going, is that, you know, in your personal life, you're one of the few people who I know who really has appreciated, has been able to take stock and say, I appreciate all of the blessings that I have in my life. And I realize that it's not all because of the things that I've done. Some of it is, as you say, what God has done for me. And other people will believe that it's luck or it's fate or it's the universe, whatever it is. You know, we often try to, I think, fool ourselves into thinking that if you just work hard, if you just do the right things, good things happen. Well, that's not true. That's not true. There are many people that work hard and bad things befall them. And knock on wood, nothing bad will befall us.
No.
But I feel also that I've had a blessed life, and I can't take credit for all of that. So I have to be thankful and grateful. And that's what your project is about, is giving thanks back to the world.
That's primarily what Thank You Project is about. And because for several years, I'm not talking of, this is not a spur of the moment decision. I had a lot of sleepless nights thinking about what I was doing. I was feeling empty. I was feeling wasted. I was feeling hollow because I had so many good things happening and I wasn't doing anything for the next person. I had my kids in private schools from St. Chris, Nashua Catholic, and all over, paying fees for private school education. And I wasn't doing anything for anybody beyond that. I knew what the people in my village in Nigeria, I know what they need. I know what they lack. The level of depravity, the lack, the poverty, I felt it was unconscionable with the abundance that I saw or see around me here. And I know that I was convinced that I had to do something about it.
So you felt compelled to give back, really, for your heart.
Not just that I felt compelled, I feel obligated. I feel that every breath I take, until I take my last breath, I have to account for it by doing something with it. Every breath I take.
So the village that you came from, and you and your wife didn't come from the same village, right?
No.
So your village was
Ututu,
and your wife's village?
Achi.
Achi, okay.
Both
So
in
and how
Nigeria.
far apart are these villages in Nigeria?
Just to explain, it's like from Nashua to, let's say Portsmouth.
Portsmouth. Okay, so
Nashua
not
to
too far
Portsmouth.
apart. But
Yeah, not too far apart.
and Nigeria is a pretty big country too.
Nigeria is big. Nigeria is like country, it's almost 220 million people.
Yeah,
It's big.
it's a big country. We tend to underestimate the size of many of the countries in Africa. So a lot of poverty in the community you came from, and I know that one of the big things that you saw was lack of easily accessible drinking water,
That's it.
potable drinking water.
That's it.
And what does it take before the Thank You Project?
Yeah.
What does it take to get water for your family? What do you do if, I mean, I take water for granted. I get up in the morning, I make myself a pot of coffee, I wash the dishes, I take a shower, I brush my teeth. I don't actually hardly ever think twice about it, and unless I turn on the handle and nothing comes out.
From the faucet.
Yeah,
Okay.
and then I think twice about it. But otherwise, it's just almost like breathing. You just don't even think twice until you can't. So what does it take in your village, in Ututu, to get water for yourself?
I honestly do not begrudge anybody that has same understanding of water as you do have. Because
Yeah.
I realize
Well,
that
of course, if you don't know, you
if
don't
you
know.
don't know, yes. If you don't know about it, then why would you? You know, if you've never seen somebody that lacks water, how will you even comprehend it? Sometimes it sounds stranger than fiction. Now, typical story in my village. I didn't grow up in the village. I grew up in a gated community in Nigeria. But one very good thing happened to me, very positive, that has impacted my life up to this moment. My dad used to drive us to the village. That's where he came from every Christmas. Christmas is a big deal in Nigeria. So we'll go spend like 2 weeks, Christmas holiday, go back to the city, New Year after New Year. Those 2 weeks changed my life because you had to live with them and go through what they were going through. Typical day, a kid wakes up in the morning, sometimes 5 a.m. They run to the river or stream or puddle, whatever, depending on the water level.
Sure.
And they fetch water, dirty water, contaminated water with all.
And how far is it to get there?
We are looking at close to 2 miles
Each way.
each way.
Okay.
They walk depending on the season, right? You know, these are tributaries.
Yeah.
So this one might dry up. They go to, they walk further to get the next one.
So we're in South Nashua right now in the TV studio.
Uh-huh.
We're near the police department, is the television station for
Yep.
people who don't know where we are.
Yeah,
And 2 miles is about the distance from here to City Hall.
you got it.
Past St. Joseph Hospital, keep going,
They keep going.
up Main Street to City
keep
Hall. So 5 a.m. I get up, I run down to City Hall
Yep,
from where I am at the
Yep.
police department in Nashua,
yep,
get a bucket of water
yep.
and bring it back.
And
And it's dirty water.
and it's very well. Not only that, it's not the same picture too, because you're walking through tarred road.
Yeah.
They are walking through paths
Okay.
and dirt roads, and they have to contend with scorpions and snakes. You know that early in the morning, you
Yeah.
could see somebody bitten by a snake or a scorpion.
What about other wildlife?
That's it.
Oh, lions.
No, not lions.
No lions.
Not lions. So, but I'm just saying, you understand?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah. The kids.
So it's
and they
dangerous.
it is dangerous. And they do that. They go that early so that because at that point the water wouldn't have been disturbed, because they don't
Yeah.
see the microorganisms in the water, they feel it's clean, right?
Yeah.
So they scoop it like that because much later in the day, more people would have come to the stream to wash their clothes or anything. It gets dirty.
Sure.
So that's what they do. They fetch that water, they go home, they drink it, they get
What
sick,
about for sanitizing it?
they don't boil it.
Okay.
No, there's no time. That's luxury.
Yeah. Okay.
There's so much superstition and faith that they believe it's okay. They are going to live. But that impacts their life expectancy. You
Sure.
see, people die off at like 50, 55 is old age. I'm talking from personal experience because I call Nigeria a couple of times and I ask about cousins, that I used to relate to when I was a kid growing up. And they tell you this one passed away 10 years ago. This one passed. Most of them were younger than I am. And I know in my heart that it's not old age. It's because the immune system has broken down. And it's like they've lived 80 years.
And how much water does a kid get in this? Does a kid fetch?
So that's another one. Let's say they fetch a 5-year-old, a 5-year-old, 6-year-old, because they're kids. Because mostly this is born by kids and their mothers, women and children, not the men. So a kid will carry like 10 gallons of water, right? And they carry so that they can save the next run. So they almost carry more than they are able to.
A gallon is 16 pounds?
I need to confirm the exact weight of a gallon, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So the
You keep talking. I'm going to look on my phone.
Look it up.
Because I think it's either 8 pounds or 16
yeah.
pounds.
So they carry it and they go.
Yeah.
And before you know it, over time, I've realized you go to the village and you see most of them are stunted. You know, they are under 5 feet or under 4 feet because of the weight they have put on their head. They carry it on their heads, not on their hands.
Yeah. So a gallon of water weighs 8.34 pounds.
Okay, good.
So 10 gallons would be
80 pounds. 80, yeah.
80 pounds.
Yep.
A lot.
You understand? Yeah, that's what they carry, right?
Yeah.
And they carry like this. Their neck is almost sunk into their shoulders. And before you know it, they don't even grow. Or they get sick and they die. I read an article, United Nations report, that said, not just in my village now, this is UNICEF for Nigeria, 100,000 kids under the age of 5 die annually, every year, because of dirty water.
It's unbelievable. So let me, since we don't have a lot of time to keep talking about it, let me just cut short to the chase, Charles. So your solution to giving back was to help to build a well, a borehole,
Yep.
in your community and in your wife's village as
Yep,
well.
that's what we're doing.
And you've done that. What have you done so far?
So we decided to build water boreholes for them that will be devoid of impurity, that they wouldn't need to sanitize or boil. So far, we have just completed our 6th water borehole. Each borehole is projected to serve, because we put them in clusters, close to 5,000 people. We have 6 currently, full operation. Solar, we install solar panels to operate them. They are community boreholes. And we are projecting to build 10 in each village, in Ututu, 10 in Achi. Hopefully, at the end, when we complete that, lots of people are reaching out to us right now. What about us? What about us? But I just look, even our board members tell us, Charles, you can't stop in your village and your wife's village. You need to go further. Tell them, no, charity begins at home. I didn't say I'm gonna, but let me take care of the known before we go beyond my village.
So the boreholes are self-sustaining, they're solar powered.
Solar power.
And they're in the village. So,
In the village,
So
yes.
kids now don't need to fetch water. And the water that does come out is clean, is potable to begin with.
I went there to commission it and I drank it.
And
Straight from the faucet.
that's fantastic. How deep do you need to dig a borehole to find water?
Depending on the geophysical survey of the site, the location, we've gone close like 700 feet.
So pretty deep.
Yeah, we go really deep, depending on the aquifer, right? We go pretty deep. We've got like 500, different land locations have different geology. So that's what determines. That's the farthest we've gone, like I was saying. So we go there, once we get the water, we'll build stanchions, have like reservoir overhead, and pipe it through the plumb it, the faucets, and the spigots so they can come individually. In fact, we'll have close to like 8 outlets for them to fetch from. And it's been amazing.
That is unbelievable and really, truly life-changing. Let me ask you this. Locally,
Yeah.
here in Nashua, how have people been able to support the Thank You Project? What do you do to get people involved?
I want to, first of all, I hope I'm not missing out from showing appreciation to anybody here. The local community has responded beyond anything I could have imagined or scripted. Starting with the mayor, the city of Nashua, Mayor Jim Dunches, the city of Nashua, the schools have Ward Academy, Second Nature Academy. I have St. Christopher School. I have National Catholic. They changed to National Academy. National North, National South. These are the schools. The churches: First Church, Presbyterian Church, Unitarian Church. All the entire community, they've been highly receptive to this, and I can't thank everyone. Even you, Mike, you've been helping us too from the very beginning. So I don't know who I'm missing in thanking, but I can tell you that.
So you've gotten a lot of community support. Let me ask you this then. So you have one of the ways in which people can support the Thank You Project is through the Water Walk, right?
That's correct.
So, and that's coming up again pretty soon. Tell us about the Water Walk. How do people get involved, and how does that help support your project?
Okay. Our Water Walk is scheduled for September 16 this year. It starts at 9 a.m. Actually, the registration starts at 8 to
Was
9.
it at Greeley Park again?
At Greeley Park here in Nashua. And it's an event we set up to try to replicate or somewhat mimic what goes on in the village. You know, the kids carrying buckets, water to the river and back. And we use it to raise money. It's been very successful and growing every day. Just practically every year at the end of the walk, we are able to raise enough money to build a well.
That's amazing.
So that's what we plan to do this year too. Currently, we are trying also to not just depend on raising all the money on the day of the Water Walk. We have our website. People can actually now individually form their teams to raise money. We have Give Butter that we posted on our Facebook page and on our website. If anybody can go and sign up and have a team, tell their friends, they contribute. The projection is, if we have 1 million people give $1 each, it's $1 million. Do the math. Nobody has given us $1 though. Most people give like 20, 25. You know, people give thousands. I had someone gave us a blank check. No, not an anonymous check of $32,000.
Wow.
Anonymous. Said, don't mention your name. I just like what you guys are doing. Because I realized that you guys, almost 98% of what you say, we don't have practically any overhead except like postage, print and mailbox, or our website, maintaining our website. The rest is pro bono by our board and individuals. So
Amazing.
Everything that comes goes towards the project.
How much does it cost to dig one borehole?
Good. The maximum we have spent on a borehole is $35,000. The minimum we have spent is $30,000, because it also depends on the topography, on the phase. You know how
deep you
far,
need to go,
how far
probably
we
how
go.
hard the ground is.
You got it. We have to break through rocks and everything, so that costs more. If the soil is softer, if the geography, then we'll go. Then we're looking at 30 to 35. That's clean, and we deliver it.
And the labor, I'm sure, is local labor.
Local labor, everything there. We have a consultant who is as invested as we are here. You know, that's why sometimes when I say, the way things work out, you can't just script it. We have a consultant in Nigeria who is invested, not because we realize that most of the projects in Africa and developing countries fail because of lack of maintenance. So if anything breaks on any of our boreholes, we have our engineers on the ground to fix it. So this is like when I say this is my life, that I'm gonna do it until I take my last breath. That's what it is. When I retire, I'll practically be living in my village.
That's such a great story, Charles. And I'm sure your wife is very happy that you're taking care of her village as well.
Okay. My wife, I didn't tell you this story because my wife thought this was, she wasn't sure when I told her what I had bothering me, that look at these people, and I felt handicapped, that I couldn't, with all the abundance I see here, between me, my friends, my connections, and everybody, I can't just get myself to help the folks in the village that are dying away. They're not looking for cell phones. They're not looking for cars. They're not looking for the next electronic gadget. They're just looking for water. And I felt it's highly unconscionable that I let this sit without doing anything about it. Mm-hmm. There's, okay, let's see. She was watching me to make sure that I still had time for the family. But now I have time for the family. We've been able to do her village because I told her I was going to do in her village and my village. I started with my village because I wanted to use my village as a guinea pig.
Perfect the process, and then once it's perfect, then you take it to your wife's
I moved to my in-laws so that they don't call me names.
You're a very smart man, my friend.
Yeah, so that's what we did. So that's what we did. So far, it's working great.
That's fantastic. Charles, we're about out of time. I wanted to just tell you that I appreciate you coming on the show today to talk with us about the Thank You Project. What's the website?
Website is www.thankyouproject.org. And we have just about every information.
Yeah.
And anybody can email us if you have any questions. We are transparent. Perfect. Our information is there. There is nobody that has any personal investment in this. There's no ego about this. Nobody is making a dime from this. We are all, and we tell people, when you're giving, you're not giving to Charles, you're not giving to Thank You Project. You are giving through Thank You Project.
Charles, I wanted to thank you. Here's a hat for you from United Way.
Thank you, Mike.
Thank you for coming on. And we will see you in September at the Water Walk.
Thank you so much, Mike.
Have a great day.
You too.
Okay, perfect. This is terrific.